Alright. Let's talk AHSOKA. Far, far away. That's the episode title, and that's where we end up. Far, far away. Now, I think it's actually important to essentially start off this review discussing the end of the previous episode, and the slight change that I could kind of see in AHSOKA. So obviously in the previous episode, AHSOKA fought Anakin and became AHSOKA the White. A riff on Gandalf the White, of course. And she was supposed to come back all, nice, happy, positive, optimistic. And we sort of saw that. But that was very short-lived. Goodness me. She was very grouchy again in this opening of this episode. Not quite understanding the flip-flop that we're getting so much with this character. I mean, the opening of this episode should quite literally be moments after where we just left off in the previous episode. And she's very grumpy again. And I thought that was odd. To me, if you were to watch them back to back, I think people would have a bit of a, huh? What? Huh? What's going on here? But tell me if I'm wrong, I guess. Now, obviously, we do end up in a location far, far away, a galaxy far, far away. The unknown regions, for all intents and purposes, but it's not. It's now just another galaxy. And Sabine finally, I guess, starts to come to terms with the fact she may have done a bit of a dumb deed by being captured, and that Baylan may not go back on, may not keep his word. Now, a few things to get out of the way here. I actually quite enjoyed the visual effects of the Eye of Sion, still a dumb name, coming out of hyperspace, the sort of trails that were coming off of it. I liked that a lot, actually. Thought that was really cool. And then they board a ship. They go down to the planet's surface, and it's the homeworld of the Dathomiri sisters, basically, all the witches. And it's a barren wasteland. It's a dead planet. Lots of statues, massive statues lying around everywhere. And I would have liked to have I quite would have liked to have seen this planet in its heyday. I think that would have been quite interesting. As a desolate nightmare world, is essentially what it is anyway. It wasn't that compelling. But hey, it's still interesting nonetheless, to some regard. Then we meet the grandmothers, and they note that Sabine is a Jedi. So she is a Jedi now. Are you going to get to the point of this? Not Jedi, yes a Jedi, not a Jedi, who's a Jedi? Is she a Jedi? Does she have any powers? Is she just constantly looking constipated for no reason? What's going to go on here? Is something going to happen? She gets locked up. And there's an interesting dynamic with Baylan. So Baylan and his apprentice, very, very interesting stuff. Very, very compelling. There's some conversations that take place after Sabine is let loose to go find Ezra, which I find really, really interesting. There's seemingly a power on this planet. I don't know what that power is. I don't know what Baylan wants it for. Presumably, I guess, because his discussion is to bring the cycle to an end. I don't know. I don't want to sound, a sort of a fantasy land, but maybe a device that renders the Force inert in people. I don't know. I have no idea what this power that's calling to him might actually be. But whatever it is, I'm intrigued, I guess. And Baylan probably had the most amount of screen time out of the whole season in this episode or series, and I really enjoyed finding out a little bit more about him. You find out about his past a little bit more, and how he sort of misses it but doesn't miss it, and almost a little bit more sympathy and, I guess, slight pity for him and his apprentice, because his apprentice is seemingly quite confused by the situation. And I enjoyed that dynamic. I thought that was overall pretty good. And then Sabine's got like a weird rat, dog, horse thing. It looked like a bat, dog, horse cross thing. I don't bloody know what it was. And she's off killing more people that attack her. which are very, 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 very stereotypically Japanese. I understand it's supposed to be inspired by, old Japanese, movies and things, but it was very on the nose. I mean, they're basically wearing samurai armor, and I thought that was very on the nose. Did not like that at all, actually, or shogun armor, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was just a bit pathetic, just very uninspired. And people will go, well, it was inspired because it's inspired by this. Yeah, I don't care. It wasn't good in my view. And then from there, well, look, we're reunited with Ezra Bridger, whilst also meeting some weird alien hermit crab type creatures. Quite like them, actually. Not really explained how they can communicate properly or anything like that, but look, whatever. Who cares, I guess, now in Star Wars. But it's just all a bit, I don't know, nothing feels earned, if that makes any sense. So, this hound was seemingly evil, and yet she's being fine with it. That I don't understand. Don't understand why the hound is now basically like a glorified dog, like a pet animal that's following her around, and she can literally communicate with it. It's nodding its head and stuff like this. It's a dog rat thing. It doesn't understand you. There's a lot of just weirdness in these kind of episodes that I'm just like, okay, whatever. They've given a stormtrooper a gold face mask. No word of a lie. Enoch. Fine, I guess. Are these stormtroopers the undead, like they're rumoured to be? I mean, they're walking around a bit like they might be. They're a bit sort of hobbledy around. And I'm a bit surprised as to why all of the stormtroopers, essentially all of them, have really, really dodgy armour. Were they all just in a trash compactor or something? What's going on with that? You don't need to make them all battered like that. Not all of them need to be broken. It's just a bit, again, a creative oversight, I think. Now, obviously, let's get on to Thrawn. I did a video explained on Thrawn earlier today. Initially, looked a bit stupid in terms of its design, Thrawn's design. But I actually quite enjoyed his portrayal of the character, the enunciation, that side of things I enjoyed. But visually, it is very cheap looking. And it gives me shades, but cheap in a bad way. And it gives me shades of, the Grand Inquisitor from Kenobi. Just, nah. This ain't it, Chief, Not all of it needs to be translated directly. Some of it needs to be changed and adjusted to make the aesthetics kind of work in live action. And I just didn't think it landed that well. What's his grand plan? What's his characterization like? Is it true to Star Wars canon? A little bit here and there. He's seemingly pretty betraying and things like that. Maybe he sees Baylan as just mercenary, so he doesn't really care. Maybe his great mission is more important. Who knows? The Night Sisters, the Grandmothers, or whatever they're called, they were alright. It's all, I don't know. This episode was better than the last episode. But Ahsoka's back to being grumpy. And Grand Admiral Thrawn, seemingly, I've got to say, it was seemingly an actual decision to make him look a bit like Elon Musk. Which again just doesn't land. It looks a bit dumb. And if you look at the actor without makeup, he doesn't look anything like Elon Musk. So it's a bit weird. Conscious decision, I guess. Anyway, what did you guys think? My review's a bit rambly, I get that. But what did you guys think? Let me know down below. Did you catch Ahsoka the White now being grumpy again? Anyway, cheers guys, take care. Bye-bye now.